Hello, hello. If someone's can confirm that my audio is working, I can't see it working in the browser there, but I think we should be all right. So audio is working fine. Very cool. All right. I'm going to share my browser first so I can give a little bit of context. Oh, that's cool. Context as to what we are doing today. Share. Okay, I got to stop my screen for 1 second here. And let's take a look at my browser. Last second, a different window. New tab. Yes. Okay. So, of recent, there's been quite a few different YouTube videos that have gone out, and like from pretty popular creators and like just different posts around the internet and stuff like that. And we're seeing a much higher sustained amount of players than we do outside of a release party. And so, for example, I started like several days ago. If I go to like maybe 30 days will be okay to look at. If I view this, okay. We just want to look at this. Oh, hello. There we go. So essentially, it looks like it's about 2 weeks ago. We were peaking at about like 75 players per day or something like that. And then some like days it goes down. But of recent, like after some of these YouTube videos came out and some people might have come and checked out the game, they will very quickly see, or like what we do quite quickly see that there are increased amounts of players during the day. And I'm just going to turn on some background music here. Where is, let's do night driving. I'll just leave it on there for a second. Might start up. Who knows? And so, yeah, so we're seeing more and more players. And because of this, we have, like our server is starting to struggle a lot more. And more specifically, we've like reached, like yesterday, we reached like 165 players or something. We took like, it was like right before like the server crashed right here for whatever reason. But we saw there was quite a lot of people playing the game, and like our record is like 195 players like we saw at our last release party. And so we're like coming close to that from like natural growth, which is pretty crazy. But our server is not doing so hot. And so we can see that right here. So server tech, this is like the one that we can like gather a lot of information from. So I'll say like over like the last 2 days, we aim to keep our server ticks around 30 milliseconds, but we're going up into like, so like sometimes it's like 100 milliseconds. Like if we look more currently, we're probably around like 60 to 100. And yesterday I scaled up the server. We went from like a 16 core server to a 32 core dedicated one inside of our data center. And so we had a meeting today. We were talking about what types of things can we do to try and improve this. And so one thing that I brought forward is we could just look at better hardware. We could, like we're thinking of provisioning a dedicated server, and it will have a AMD Zen 3 CPU, and this should help out with a lot of the processing. And so, or sorry, when I say a lot of processing, sorry, I left it open-ended there. What I mean is that it'll help speed up what single cores can do, but the problem that it has is that we're not necessarily just having problems with single, like just because we can get a faster core doesn't mean that we're going to solve the problem. And if I could, we have a specific graph that shows. Oh well, okay, Grafana's frozen. Grafana, we'll try again. So if we go down here, oh no, getting the server. If we go down below, we can see this chart right here will show us the amount of parallel, or so the parallel portion on multi-core. And what we can see is that we are only using about 0.4, which means that like each CPU, like together on average, is using about 40% of what it can fully do. And so in today's meeting, we were talking about like what's the breakdown of a lot of the work that's done in each frame. And so we have this chart right here, and we were talking through this. We were taking a look and saying, okay, well, like physics, this is like the normal stuff that we have. We have stuff like buffs are taking quite a lot of time. There's some stuff over here that's taking a lot of time. And then we were also talking about, okay, well, in some ways we have it documented that like physics must become before the agent system, and then metrics must be at the end. And so some things must come after, like one after another. And we were talking about other ways to optimize. And so we came up with a few issues that we want to try and resolve for optimizations over the next little while. But the there's one that came up that was mentioned in the Discord chat, which I'll see if I can just pull up Discord in the browser and we can take a quick look at this. So yeah, we were in our meeting today, and this is like the public meeting. Anybody can come and hang out and check it out. I don't think there's anything here I should not show off. So I'll just toss this over here. All right, so Zester had mentioned. Oh yeah, I said if I get 7 likes, I'll stream me working on it, and so that is why I'm here. Also because I wanted to. I thought it was cool. So Zester mentioned, outcomes. They can be parallelized quite a lot. We should use event buses instead of the current way we're doing it with a vector of outcomes, and that might reduce data dependency a lot. And so, and in theory, so Zester said it would probably only take 20 minutes. And so if Zester is helping me, then we might get it done in like 2 hours. We'll see. So as far as I understand, outcomes are things that get emitted after an event occurs. But then the thing is that we store them right now as just a vector of outcomes. And so they're just stored in like a list that we process through. And then as far as I understand from what can be improved, the idea is if we use primitives that are better with threading. And so if we're storing it in some type of event bus, something that can be accessed presumably while it's still being written to, I'm not entirely sure all the details here, then we might be able to do a bit better than we are doing right now. So I'm just gonna take a look through chat. I'll be pretty happy for optimizations because I might be able to finally play Veloren on my potato laptop. So unfortunately today we're focusing on server-side optimizations, which might actually I feel like it does have implications on the client side, because if you're playing single player, then I think it does have an effect, but I'm not entirely sure. Massive increase to the reading club. Oh yeah, great, very good. Yes, go check out Hannibal's YouTube video on Magic of Voxel and doing some stuff. Wait, have you skipped to the end? I don't know about this. Maybe, I'm not sure. Okay, and there's some other questions here. Ooh, we got 10 in chat. This graphing tool is looking so cool. Yes, and I do want to mention, if you want to go check it out, go to grafana.veloren.net. You can take a look at all of it yourself. We got some pretty cool charts showing stuff off, and so do feel free. This is a tool that anybody can check out. Awesome. So my worst comments always make it to the video. We love to see it. All right, so let's hop over to the code. So I should say, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. And so I'm going to rely a lot on other developers in chat to help me through a lot of this. But I'm also going to rely a lot on Rust's type system. And so, and also, is there music playing? I can't hear it. I hope there is, because like otherwise it's just very bland. Okay, so Zester said first that we could take a look. Oh, you can't hear music. Okay, cool. It might be too loud. I have it a bit higher than I normally would. I'm just gonna put it down to like, I think 20 is a good number. Tell me if it's a bit too loud. All right, cool. So let's take a look. Zester said to first start with, where is it? There's a specific file. If you look at server tick and client tick, there's rough explanation. I think this like that was related to something else potentially. There was a file that Zester mentioned. Check out common source event.rs. Event common source. Okay, so I'm going to be quite zoomed in today. just because, well, I guess maybe it's better if I just do that. Oh, wait, I still have the comment up. Not only is Hannibal's comment, they always get shown off, but I do not remember. Oh, and I still have the banner active. Wild. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So first off, I just want to find the part that Zesper was talking about. So we have like a vec of outcomes, and this might not be here. Maybe I'll go look for it in the entire code base. Outcomes. Okay. So it's used in quite a few different places. In particular, event bus. Okay. So I'm just going to take a look at, let's say, like, I want somewhere that it is used. Entity manipulation. Okay, I'm not getting too much context from there. So event bus. Let's take a look at event bus. So event bus is what we're looking at, the fact that we're using a vec deck. I think there's some potential there to look at. Let's see where event bus is used. Maybe. Maybe not. Peak references. Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm just moving some screens around here. Chatting with Zester on Discord just so we can get like a full real time seeing what's going on. So event contains event and event bus. The bus is a way to emit events in a parallel manner by using internal mutability. And so I'm not too familiar with internal mutabilities, but I think this is like just like a structure that allows you to change things even if you don't have mutable access system. Outcome is kind of similar to event, but it was never put into an event bus. Okay, so outcome. So outcome itself is okay. So it's used for all of this different type of stuff, and so whenever there's presumably whenever there's an explosion or a projectile shot or projectile hit. So yeah, I guess this is used for quite a lot of stuff. Any system that needs to emit outcomes therefore needs to have mutable access to vec outcome, and because of that, presumably we have like an arc mutex, which means that it's thread safe, if I had to guess, and that would be more difficult if a lot of threads are trying to access it. Okay, so I wasn't able to see where event bus is being used, but so any system that needs to emit outcomes therefore needs to have immutable access. Oh, yeah, that's good. By turning into an event bus of outcomes, we allow systems that emit outcomes to run in parallel. Also, the implementation of event bus is cool. It's fun to look over. Wait, did I? Oh, that's why I couldn't hear music. My headphones weren't even turned on. That's wild. Okay, so I'm trying to get up and running a little bit here. So do forgive me if I'm going through some stuff a bit slowly, but I think this stream is more just going to be us working through it slowly together, not necessarily like a pro coming in and doing everything, you know. And so we'll take some time. We'll try to look through some stuff as Esther is messaging me with some things. Then we'll talk about those a little bit. Okay, so event bus itself, stuff gets passed to here. So I guess event bus is used for a lot of different things, not just outcomes. Outcomes are just a so I'm thinking of ways that I can get started with this. So as Esther mentioned, this is like a pretty short thing. So what I'm thinking is that to a certain extent, we can just change out the type of vec of outcome to event bus of outcome. But I want to find like the primary place that like these vec outcomes are being consumed, because presumably that's where the most things will need to change. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of reading through here. So we have a lot of things have the ability, I suppose, to like write to this part of the ECS, and so so I guess like anytime that something would want to add something to the outcomes, then it would just append it to the list. Basically, the thing to do is replace all instances of vec outcome with event bus outcome. Event bus has a method to pull all the events in at the end of out at the end of tech. Okay, so let's start off by just doing a big replace and seeing for this very specific, like when we're specifying types, then where does it go wrong? All right, so beep, beep, boop. And okay, so it's going to start off by just telling us some areas where stuff is not included, and that does make sense. So it's going to include a few things here. I hope my find and replace didn't. I wonder if it touched things that it shouldn't have. Maybe it did. Who knows? So debug is not implemented for event bus, but why does it want debug? Oh, because server general wants debug. So I doubt there's anything else called vec outcomes, so it should be fine. Okay, so what do we do here? So before it was a vec of outcomes, it was happy about that, but now that it's an event bus, it's not so happy. And presumably I don't want to just go derive debug on event bus, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So we'll leave that for a second. Expected vec of outcomes and global. Where outcomes in this case is, can I just go event bus dot new? I don't want to make it smaller. Cargo watch. Okay. Message server should probably change back to vec outcome. Basically, we want to turn it from an event bus into a vec before sending it to the client. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so in this case where, so I suppose this enum represents anything that could be sent from, from the client, from the server to the client. So in that case, yeah, when it's getting sent, then that's when it wants to have access to stuff, or to as a vector rather. So now outcomes, which is an event bus. So what does event bus have implemented for? Like, what can I call here? So emitter, receive all, append. Is that what I'm doing? It does not look like that. Okay, well, how would I find? Oh, I bet oh yeah, okay, here we go. I just want to find something that uses an event bus that okay, tick. I want to find something that isn't what we just used to do something with an event bus. Okay, so event bus. Oh no, you want to make an emitter. Okay. Oh, so I want to make an emitter out of. So where does server emitter come from? Just get passed in. Mute emitter of server event. So do I want to make so in this case, should outcomes be an emitter of outcomes? So emitter takes some. So I can make an emitter out of an event bus. Okay. You want to make an emitter, then call emit on it. You can call emit on event bus directly, but not quite as fast. Better to make an emitter at the beginning of the system. Then it'll automatically batch emit when dropped. Maybe take a look at existing use of event bus. Yeah, so that's a pretty good idea. Okay, so Aura uses it. So let's go take a look at this. So server bus. Okay, so server emitter is from the data of the ECS, presumably. I guess a server bus, and then gets an emitter from it. And now we have the emitter, we can emit some server event. Okay. And so where was I doing stuff? Don't want that one. Okay, so I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. I think busy. Tell me if that's not readable on the streaming platforms. It should be doing 1080p, but I'm not sure. All right, so global find and replace, see if it compiles. Very true. There's some question about doing load testing and stuff, and so I've been trying a little bit of this. Like Imbris wrote a small swarm bot that would spawn like a whole bunch of bots and then have them walk around, but they're like under the map, and so I think it's mostly just testing that chunks can load in and stuff. And so I was thinking of ways to improve that, but okay. So back to this. So presumably I should create the emitter out here, I feel. Is the emitter needed for multiple things in here? So right now it's pushing something, and then I think it's best to create it out there. And just to confirm, is this a system, or is this called from some system, and then I should be passing it into here? So Lester mentioned that I could potentially create it. Actually, I guess I could create it here now, and then if we run into issues, we can look at that later. As early as possible. So dispatch hit. Oh, so I might even be like, run, is this a system? Yes, this is a system because now I'm back into the ECS of stuff. Okay, so we're at the beginning of the system now. So right here, I'm going to create the emitter for the, I guess, projectile. I'm not entirely sure where we've gone at this point. Just want to get back to where I was and see how far down I am. Okay, so I'm wanting to use it in here. Okay, so we're still within projectile, and so essentially I'm just getting it set up for projectile right now. Let's see. So if you want to pass an emitter into that function rather than the event bus itself, looks like an emitter for events already exists in that code, so you could copy that, but for outcomes, of course. An emitter for events. Outcome is outcomes a type of event, or is outcomes I'm not sure about that. Okay, so instead of passing outcomes here, outcome emitter, was this what we're looking for? And then what is server event? So I think I want an emitter of outcome. Someone tell me if this isn't correct. This looks about right. Dispatch hit, and from here, outcomes comes all the way up from the top of run, which is where we want to create the emitter. So where's the other emitter being created? So we have server emitter. Server emitter comes. Oh wow, it's even earlier than I thought. Okay, so let mu outcomes emitter equal outcomes dot emitter. Is that allowed? Is that legal? Outcomes is like an event, but it's a thing that gets produced after an event has occurred, whereas event is more like a request for an event to happen. Oh, intriguing. Okay, so it's like something was handled and now we need to emit an outcome. Okay, so this looks good. Now we have the outcomes emitter. So we're going to go throw it into emitter. Is that happy? This looks happy. Why can't you find outcomes? Oh, because I did change the name from outcomes to outcomes emitter. So let's just do it with this instead. Emitter. Okay, now where is it? Mad. And did I fix Okay, so now I'm able to do the append, which I think I'm allowed to do. Mismatch types, expected mutable reference, and found an enum. Well, why does the emitter want... Or maybe I'm using this wrong. Maybe... Should I just be emitting? That looks about right. Okay, so we don't got the red lines anymore, which normally means it's pretty okay. Emit. All right. If someone wants to just let me know that that is like that seems like the right thing to do, then that would be good. Okay, so now I think we just duplicate that a few times. So we got the first one done. So I'm just going to go up to, so we got server emitter, and Zester says looks good. I mean, pro Rust developer over here, not bad. Let mute outcomes emitter, and then emit where does outcomes come from? Oh yes, okay. As that sort of mentions, sorry, this code looks so messy. I don't even know. I think this is like pretty nice. I mean, maybe like there are standards for like different parts of the code base, but I'm feeling a lot better. At the beginning, I'm like, ooh, there's like a lot that I got to go through. But now that I got like the picture in my head, then it's feeling a lot better. Okay, so this file looks good. Let's hop over to Melee. So where are you? So I should just be copying let mute outcomes emitter equal now it's gonna get mad down here. Emit. Oh, so what's happening here? Right. Oh no, this is okay. This is the exact same. Dot emit. Oh. So, okay, this one's interesting. So instead of having an outcome, it has a vec of outcomes that's already thinking it's going to add to here. So I guess I just iterate through and add each one to the, or emit each one. New outcome, new outcomes dot iter dot for each emit. I'm sorry that I'm not a Vim user and not able to like magically move around the entire code base in 0.015 seconds, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, what happened here? Our outcomes emitter. I think that looks good. No, it doesn't. Mismatch types outcome, found outcome. So beep it a boop. Toss a star there. All right. You can even add a method to event emitter like, oh, that's cool. Would be a bit more optimized. Wait, what do you mean by that? Why would it be more optimized to add it inside of here? I'm going to do it because that sounds fun, but I'm curious as to why. Pub fn emit many. Whoa, is this right? So emit takes an event. What's extend do? Extends a collection with the contents of an iterator. Copilot solves a problem yet again. Because in a loop means the vecdeck internally needs to constantly reallocate as it grows. With something like extend, it can use the iterator's size hint method. Oh, that's cool. So that looks right to me. Zester mentioned if it's incorrect. I don't usually get this. I like this. I don't usually get this close to the ECS, so I can't give any insight more than that cargo check output. True. But it's actually kind of crazy. Like, I'm coming in not knowing very much about the implementation details at all, and just the idea that there's a different data structure that would do something differently, and I'm able to just start changing some stuff, use some intuition. You definitely get a lot of help, but not have to worry so much about making mistakes if it's not read anymore. All right, Zester says looks good. That's the second looks good we've gotten today. Very cool. Okay, so now I should be able to do outcomes emitter dot emit many new outcomes. So that should be what we want. I'll have to check that out because I've never written. Well, I've never really used generics for stuff, but this syntax is pretty cool, where I can just pass in some events that is some type that presumably implements into iterator, and because of that, I can just use extend. So I'll have to check that out because that's definitely very clean. That's pretty nice. All right, so we are no longer running this file, so let's go to another file. Go to outcomes, and oh, cool. So we got more emitters here. So as Zester just mentioned, into iterator is a good idea. Nice catch, better than iterator. I want to be very, very specific. It's not me that wrote that. Copilot did the work there. I just pressed tab. It saw what it needed to do and it did it. I go back and look at how cool the code is that Copilot wrote. Let mute outcomes. Emitter. Fancy editor. It does all the magic. Outcomes. Emitter dot emit. Oh wow! Look, we only have 2 more problems now. That's pretty great. So maybe Zester is right. Maybe this is a lot closer to actually taking 20 minutes than like 2 hours. Well, actually, I'm not at the end yet. I shouldn't say that. Okay, but what am I trying to do here? What's going on here? Create outcome. Oh. Right resource event bus outcome. So is this the actual implementation of what it does when it gets... Oh no, this is a local event tells it to create an outcome. Right resource push. So is this creating a new one? What is outcome in this case? Outcome is actually an outcome. Okay, so I'm just going to do this the way that I think it would make sense. Let mute outcomes emitter equal dot emitter. Was that correct? Right, resource is getting a mutable reference to that resource. Okay, actually, there's a few other things here. Resources are singletons, 1 value per type. 1 value per type. Okay, right, resource is getting a mutable reference to that resource. Just emit there is fine. Okay, so I'm only emitting once. Okay, so I guess I should have looked first and seen. Well, is it just happening once? Should I? Because since it's in a for loop here. Doesn't that suggest that I should be? Oh no, okay, it's gonna not be so happy because I'm getting a mutable reference. Zester's thinking about it. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is it better to get the emitter out here because then I don't have to do it for each time you go into the for loop? Do we have mute access to state? I don't know where I would find that out. Because if so, we have exclusive access anyway. So how would I go about figuring that out? Is it in the case that, so ECS here, yeah, so I'm not entirely sure where the method receiver mute self. Oh, because what you're saying is because we are grabbing self as mute self, then we already have mutable access. Okay, so Zester says, good that we do, but I still not entirely sure what we can do now that we have that. So just a emit mute method call is fine. You'll need to create that method. Oh, cool. We got to create another method. All right, let's see. So emitter, emit now. Do we need, so is this an alternative to emit down here? So would it be like pub fn emit mute? Let's see what it does. So that looks like the same, I think. Basically, it says we promise we have mutable access anyway, so you'll need to lock the internal mutex. Yes, like emit now, but takes mute self instead. Oh, okay, cool. So let's take a look at this. Pub fn emit mute, where it takes in a mutable reference to self and doesn't need to lock. Doesn't need to. On event bus not emitter. Yeah, so right here. Self q. And instead of locking the mutex, use, whoa, I've never not locked the mutex. Oh, this is cool. So yeah, I've definitely done a lot of stuff with, well, a medium amount of stuff with mutexes before. After you start learning async and threading in Rust, it's like surprisingly, like once you get the mental model, then it helps out like a ton to just like going in super easily writing a lot of this stuff. But what Jester is mentioning is that instead of locking, we can do .get mute. Is that a thing? Try lock. Okay, so whoa, that's cool. Okay, so get mutes documentation returns a mutable reference to the underlying data. Since this call borrows the mutex mutably, no actual locking is needed to take place. It can just supposedly get what's inside the thing, and it doesn't have to. Okay. The mutable borrow statically guarantees no lock exists. Oh. Ooh. Rust, you've done it again. The borrow checker at work again. All right. If another user of these mutex. Oh, no, that's just the error. Rust's, yeah, so as Esther mentioned, Rust's mutable reference is a really strong guarantee. Indeed, that is very cool. Okay, but so I still need to unwrap, supposedly unwrap. Oh my gosh, my headphones die again. Okay, there we go. So now that we've got this very cool emit mute, so I got emitter last time. Can I emit mute? Is it like that? Wait, what's it expecting? Oh, so what we're saying is, okay. So I think if I'm understanding correctly, now we can go grab this, toss it in here, and emit the outcome, which is good because now we don't need to lock it out here and then work through it. Is that correct? I think that's correct. Yeah, so I guess like the reason we want to like hoist it up before when possible is so that we don't have to like keep locking it every single time we want to use it. And so I think this emit mute allows us to do what we need. Okay, now write outcomes, physics write. Ooh, okay. Right from Vester. Actually, we can do one better. And okay, so all right. Let's go back and take a look at this. Specs has a get mute. Now, what this goes on top of. So instead of write resource, we can just use get mute. No locks or atomics at all. Get mute. And I think I still need to specify the type so it knows what it's looking for. And that's an option. I feel less clean about unwrapping here, but is it okay to do that? Cannot borrow self ECS as mute because it also borrows mutable. Okay, what's going on here? Is it because I'm doing it in a loop here? Is that what it's not happy about? Yeah. Okay. So a commentary on the unwrap here. We know it's in the ECS, and if it's not, then we deserve to burn. Okay. Immutable borrow happens with the velocities up here, but then we're immutably borrowing down here. So where's velocities getting? Wait, what line is that on? That's what I should have asked. 534. 534. Okay, so velocities is getting stuff from storage. Okay, so Zester says shame that we already borrowed it. Well, that's why I didn't do this before. It's all explained, but that's pretty cool. So I guess like well, and actually, reasoning behind this that I'm kind of curious about is now that we know that velocities is borrowing it. I guess it's because we can only have one. We can only have one mutual, or mutable borrow. So we're saying we would use our one golden ticket to get the mutable borrow to do this, but because we're doing it on velocities as well, we're not allowed to. Now, out of curiosity, though, so velocities is used up here, is created up here. Couldn't I just move this write storage down into each one of these, and then whichever path it took would be the one to get the mutable exclusivity? The reason there's not a conflict here is that specs uses a runtime atomic check similar to ref cell. Interesting. Fun fact: I've never actually used ref cells before. I have yet to go and like read what they do. It's kind of like every time I need a new primitive to do something, then I go in and read it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And so there will come a time that I'll be like, oh, I need to do something, and then I'll come across ref cell, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. It happened recently to me with atomics. I found out why atomics are so cool. Atomics are very, very cool. Okay, well, let's proof of concept what I'm thinking here. get mute. So I want to do this. I want to go beep beep. Oh, is this? Like that. Get rid of that. Oh, but not get mute not found on. All right, with what I'm trying here, does this make sense? And is this a way to potentially go? Method. Zesser's mentioning that Russ suggestion here is bad. Pin is not the right thing to suggest, is picking random stuff out of the void. Oof. Because I would say if I was doing this on my own, I would follow Russ's instructions here. The reason it's not a conflict here with write resource is that specs. Oh yeah, we read that. Refcell is just a single threaded read write lock. A read write lock, is that so? That seems to me. Oh, is it just like a single threaded mutex? Is that what we're talking about here? Refcell, I guess. Maybe. All right. I will, unless we think that there's any viability with going down this path, I'll just revert it. And I guess I can just bring it up in the in the MR or something. Read write lock is like mutex, but actually allows for many shared readers. Okay, yeah. So I think this makes sense. Refcell similarly allows a single writer or many readers. Anyways, that's very tangential. Yeah, I think it's still cool to see the cases where like you would use one of these for, doing something in some type of loop or. I've always thought like when I'm doing stuff single threaded, like everything's on the same thread, then like why do I have to have all these primitives of like what I can touch and can't touch, and then I go learn what they are, and then I'm like, oh, it actually, oh yeah, like the use case that it describes is definitely makes sense. All right, let's get back on to, okay, there's no more red here. We'll call that good enough for now, and let's go to this last part here. So outcomes. Oh yes, we were taking a look at this one. So where is this function being called? Resolve ET collision. Aliens. Wild. Okay, I'm just gonna just for the sake of hopefully being able to give this a test soon, I'm gonna write outcomes emitter emit outcome found, so emit many. Wait, what? Expected outcome found. Wait, what's going on here? Did I just? Oh, that's a lot more errors. We weren't down at the last one, but Duster, posted a blog post from Gankra, who I found about Gankra when she wrote about a very sensationalized title. C is no longer a programming language, and it was a really great article. I learned quite a lot from it. But then I found out that Gankra did her master's at my university, which is pretty cool. And even cooler is that when I was in my first year, she gave a talk about Rust at like my computer science society, and I went and I did not understand a single word of it. But now I'm now I know a bit more Rust, and so that's pretty cool. So little story there. All right, well these ones should be easy. Like we found what we need to do, and now we're just going through. I'm going to change the music though, because now that I can hear it, I want to hear what the Night Drag one is. Oh yeah. Okay, there we go. That's good. I do like synthwave. Oh yeah, for anybody who's wondering, synthwave. My theme in VS Code is called Synthwave 84. Very bright colors and stuff like that, but love the feel of it. Okay, outcomes. All right, here we go. And if this doesn't complain anywhere else, it doesn't look like it does, and I want to see. So outcomes is not used anywhere else. I could condense this to one line, get the emitter right after that. It's not. So what I'm curious about is why this isn't being passed in. So I guess this isn't a system, presumably. Yeah, okay, so I guess from the previous ones, it was a system that gets outcomes passed into it. Whereas this one is something's being handled from the server, and we're making our own accesses to the ECS. So I feel like we can just, yeah, not a system. I feel like it's probably easier, just because we're not using outcomes later, to just emitter. Sadly, event handling is still very single-threaded. That is fair. So we can just emit mute. Oh yeah, wait, what so we definitely don't have single access to the ECS, so I don't do anything there. Outcomes emitter dot. What was the path to this? So emitter. Okay, so I think I want, in this case, outcomes, and since emit mute, since there's presumably no extra cost to just calling emit mute, it doesn't need to lock anything, it can just pass it right into the data structure, then I feel like I'm able to do this, even if it were a loop. Not that it is, but I think that is correct. So in that case, we can just leave it as outcomes, and then everybody's happy. All right, next error, let's go. Outcomes. I'm also curious if there's like a faster way to do this. Like, it's like, now that I've templated, well, I guess there's like more context to where I'm figuring out where stuff is, or like where I put stuff into. Also, I'm curious. So I've seen this sometimes in like different, I mean, like just being able to import wherever. Is it not cleaner to move this line up to the very top of the file? Is it just more helpful to have references to it down here? I'm not sure. But anyways, I want Actually, what I'm curious about now is we've been using emit. We've made an emitter with like the emitter function method, I suppose. We've been using it with the emitter messenger. Sorry, the emitter method from time to time. But then sometimes we've also used emit mute. And so I'm trying to figure out like what are the situations in which wait, okay, go back. That we use an emit mute. Emit mute is if I guess we're the only thing that would be using the outcome, presumably. So since this isn't a function, where does it get outcomes from? Oh, I see. So I think in this case right here, where it just goes right into an if statement from the time that it was acquired, then that's fine. Emit mute is whenever we have a mutable, oh yeah, okay, a mutable reference access to the event bus. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so if I go in and I see, so for example, I look at outcomes right here, we have a mutable reference to it. Then I can just go down here, emit mute. I wonder if I messed it up a few times, if there's a few times where I still created it, even though I wouldn't have needed to. But that is nicer because then I don't have to go and write the line to split it up. All right, what's next? Outcomes, let mute outcomes, emit mute. Oh yeah. Okay, someone else down here is not happy. Outcomes. It does seem like most of the time we have access to it. Yeah, so now that I'm going through these, I really feel like I could emit mute on a lot of the other ones without creating stuff in the middle. So what about this one? State, write resource. Emit mute. Yeah, so now I'm at the point I want to come across another case where I don't have mutable access to it. Oh, what's this? Can't find type event bus. Oh, easy peasy. I think we still want it to be an event bus at this point. So this system, this isn't one that is being yeah, in the event handlers, we should have mute access most of the time. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if this one should be a vec instead of a event bus. You did a find replace of vec outcome to event bus outcome. Yes, that I did. But write expects should change to read expects. Because now we don't need the mutable access to it. Write it expects in what context? Like, were they part of the event bus? Because we do all the internal mutability magic when we declare the system data. I'm not sure I understand this, but let me just go and do a search on write expect. Okay. So I guess anyone that specifies that it's using RTSim, character, update trackers, terrain grid. I'm curious if there are any that because we do all the so specs requires that each system declare the data it needs from the ECS up front. That's what all of the read expects, write expect stuff is. It's saying the system needs read-only access to this data, or the system needs write access to this data. Oh, so because we're handling how stuff can change, we're handling that ourselves. Then what we're saying is anytime that we've had a read expect, then we don't need to, we can change every time we've had a write expect, we can change it to read expect. I could be mistaken, but it doesn't seem like there's any places where it's being used in this context. But I might be mistaken with that. Oh. So is it the case like right here where this is a write and this should instead be a read? Do a search for write expect. Yeah, so it doesn't look like there's. So is it write expect or is it write? Okay, so we do have these writes. So is that the same thing? Write storage, write. Or just write. Okay, so both should be. So oops. Read. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, so we don't have to, so specs doesn't have to care about us updating stuff. And, oh, okay. So if specs doesn't have to care us about writing stuff, then it doesn't, so it's able to pass more things out at the same time with what it thinks are read-only references to it. But that's because the references themselves, we're deciding whether or not they are being written to. Very cool. Okay. Ubuntu says, I can never have a theme with red text. That is fair. This color scheme looks like the default from Helix, which is a modal editor like Vim, but written in Rust. I feel like there was a few different, like I don't know if I've heard of Helix, but I thought I heard of another one that was written in Rust. That was pretty interesting. Oh, okay. So yeah, basically that means like by us being able to say that these are now read, then specs can do more work to figure out how to synchronize stuff. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so what's going on here? So we have outcomes. We're going to filter. And we're going to collect them. If outcomes is not empty, client send fallible. Well, why is outcomes in this case? Wait, how is it? Wait, is this just like what the? Oh yeah, this is what is being passed into the function. Oh no, it's because system data. Oh, we've gone too deep. Where do we specify system? Where do we specify what things are part of? Because what I'm thinking is that at some point we said here that outcomes is an event bus, and maybe this should still be a vec because we're doing stuff with a client here. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, so we said down here that this is an event bus. System data, it's fine there. Only needs to be a vec when we actually send it to client. aka we create a client message. Okay, so basically what I have to do is just go and take a look at the behavior that's happening here. Can I iterate over specs read in the current scope? Well, what did I expect it to be? So event bus itself is a queue. What do I have access to here? Emit into So dot into iterator. So do I need to receive all exact size iterator? Do I need to go like that? Is this the solution? Because that turns it into something we can iterate over. No method name iterator for impl exact type iterator. Well, wait, this because it's already an iterator, right? Well, maybe it's good. Okay. Why does it want to clear outcomes? Oh yeah. So I guess we probably want to add a new method to clone the contents. Well, yeah. So okay, interesting that it does. But that being said, oh yeah, okay, I guess. So receive all deletes it, whereas the previous version, where it's just iterating over it. So we are fine with it. So so what should this, we probably want to add a new method to clone the contents. Hence, also the system can take write access to it, I think, because it's the final step in the chain where we send them off and empties it, if I recall. Hence outcomes clear. Oh yeah, okay, so that's like right under the for loop, but until that point we want like our own copy each time. Okay, well, what I'm curious about in that case is if we just want a vec out of it, and this vec presumably doesn't change, then do I just toss this outside of the for loop, and then it has access to it any times that it needs, and then we don't even need to clear it afterwards because it's already been consumed? Like, is this valid? Like outcomes isn't changing inside of here, I think. Oh, I got a yep. Oh, not bad. But oh, actually, wait, no, we need the is near. Oh, but that's just, we still have a vec of outcomes, and so we can just do the filter inside. So let outcomes equal outcomes dot iter, then I grab this, then I grab this and that. Okay, I think this looks correct. Do I even have to collect it? I feel like I have to collect it because my headphones have died again. Okay. I feel like I have to collect it because I think an iterator on its own can only be consumed once. Whereas a vec can be iterated over multiple times. I think this looks right. Wait, was there red there? I just saved again to format. I did not realize if... Oh, there is red. A vec of... Oh, because I still need the dot cloned right here. I still don't understand exactly what it does, but when I feel like I think I asked in the Veloren Discord once, and Imbris said that it's very helpful when you need to switch between like a borrowed thing and an unborrowed version of it or whatever, and it seems to do that. It's very cool. I forget what receive all returns. Okay, let's take a look at receive all here. Yeah, so I don't know what an exact size iterator is. Well, how about we go look? Thank you, Rust. Returns the exact length of the iterator. But why? Basic usage. A finite range knows exactly how many times it will iterate. Oh. Oh, so it's just... So it's an iterator where you know... So when it says exact size, does that also mean finite size? Non-infinite size? Curious. Oh, clone goes from impl iterator item equals borrowed t to impl iterator item equals t. Same with copied. Interesting. I think my mental model of like how types move around is still a bit shaky in some places. So like I can sort of picture how that works, but then it's not as clear as some of the other stuff that I'm more familiar with. But that being said, it's very much just practice, and then your mental model does get better. Okay. We don't need outcomes.clear anymore. And I think so I'm going to add a comment here just because it does consume it. Consume clear the current outcomes and convert them to a vec. This probably could be written better, but we will leave it like that for now. Read not found in scope. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-boo. You probably want specs read. I'll come back to cleaning everything else later. We'll get rid of the warnings afterwards, I think. Outcomes. So what type is outcomes? Outcomes is mutable. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Emit mute. You look pretty emit mute to me. Does this stay active while... Okay, I don't know about that. When things change, like, does this have to reload? Can I click on the next thing? Yeah, it looks like it. But I think this one comes faster because this one has to wait until Rust Analyzer finishes its analysis before it can start. So maybe I think for now I'll just cancel that one and then. Okay, cool. So as long as I click before it goes, then I think I can have it do some stuff for me. I do wish I could click and drag this. I don't think VS Code has it implemented yet. I should just be making them all emit mute, and then once one of them complains, then it's like, okay, then we'll go change you. Wait, there's no more red. Does that mean we're done? Oh no. Why is there no red in here? What the heck? I should also just be filtering error. Is that how I filter? Whatever. Wait, what the heck? Session. This must be a session. I'm curious as to if this should be a vec. Because is this like client-side stuff that's going on here? Well, where's outcomes used for this? Okay, it's passed into tick and it's iterated over. And this outcomes would be nice if I could see where it was used. Is it even used? Yeah, this is in Voxygen. So, okay, so in that case, so it should be a vec here. But what I'm curious about, is it like even, it doesn't even look like it's being used. Well, actually, I guess it would give me a warning if it wasn't. Expected types be mutable reference. Oh, no, it's calling a function. And so tick in this case should be, I think, just a vec. So when I was doing my find and replace, I should have just made sure it wasn't touching client-side stuff. And actually, just because it's pretty easy, let's go and take a look at if I've changed anything else. So, yeah, well, that's fine. Voxygen, that looks all good. Is there anything else here that would, I think those are all clean. Basically, make it a vect in client message and anything else will follow on from that. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's another thing is like Rust's type inference means that I don't have to go change it a million times in a million places, I guess. Okay. Whoa. I don't see any red here. Whoa. That's pretty good. So, we've swapped it all out from vecs to event buses. And everywhere that needs to consume it to do something has been done. And actually, because I've changed out all the types, it wouldn't be able to use an old type. And so in theory, I think that means that it should be done. Also, hello, CC Gauch. CC Gauch, just in chat right here, but CC Gauch did quite a bit of work on like WASM plugins for Rust. And another tangent, we're keeping the suspense to see. I mean, wait, why don't I just compile? I mean, that's gonna take a bit. But also I'm thinking, if I want to test it, so I could test locally. I mean, I don't see it not working. But what we're really trying to do is see how it runs in a server setting. So I'm thinking I might just make a branch with it and then get it onto my server and then like throw my like however many 100 clients at it type thing, like the bot. But will it panic on startup? Ah, yes, good question. Okay, so from the sounds of it, so Zester is saying give it a run. If everything is good, stuff like arrow hit noises should still work. So, okay, well, let's just cargo run. Okay, so back to story time now that we're waiting for code to compile. So CC Gauch was working on plugins. There's a lot of other people who are like working on it as well. And last week I was doing like a hackathon where we were creating a traffic analysis tool, which would allow like a Rust program to sit on multiple different interfaces on a computer, or on different computers, I suppose, and like make a fake network between them, so that it would basically just like have packets coming through that it would be able to look at. And I was at the end of the week, I was starting to explore stuff surrounding like, okay, well, we want to like add plugins that can say like, if it's this IP, block it. If it's this time of the day, block it, or whatever. So we originally implemented it with Ron, and then I got like, so Ron is like Rusty object notation files, like JSON files, similar to that. But I got it to like hot reload, so that I can like change one of these config files and it would change as running. And that was pretty cool. But then what we wanted to see next was like, config files are good, but that doesn't allow you to express different like logic, or you could add in logic, but then you'd have to have like a parser inside. And this was a path I was thinking of going down. I was thinking like, could I have a run file where I could add some amount of code inside the run file and then use a cool Rust crate called Chomsky to create a language to do logic. And Chomsky, very cool, written by Zester, who has been very much helping me all of today. But anyways, we came to the conclusion that it would be cool to try out Wasm to see if we could have like plugins. And Wasm is what we use for plugins with Veloren as well. And so essentially, you would compile stuff to, you compile your program to Wasm. It would interface with Veloren's API. Veloren like sends over game data and stuff like this. And so in the end, I didn't actually get very far with the Wasm type of thing, but I just wanted to say that because it was a fun thing to check out. Wasm is very, very cool. All right, so let's go over to Veloren. But which screen is it? Is it this one? No. Wait, what the heck? Oh no, it's right here. Okay. So I think I just do single player. But there's a big problem with concurrency. CC Gauch mentions. And do you mean concurrency in terms of like Wasm being able to do concurrency? So I've seen a little bit of this stuff. We've talked about it a little bit at the Rust Game Dev meetup, because a lot of people like export Wasm to the browser, and then they were talking about how you can't do parallel code in the browser because Wasm doesn't allow you. But then other people were saying that you can actually do it as long as you use like web workers or something like that. Oh no, it panicked. Oh no. Okay, I'll share this. Wait, I don't know if I can easily share this window. I can't make it any smaller. Okay, one sec. Can I stop screen? Share screen. Okay, where is it? I don't know if I can go for it. Oxygen has planned that window. Whatever, I'll just read it off. And I'll go back to code. All right, back to the drawing board a little bit. But a critical error has occurred, and Oxygen was forced to terminate in an unusual manner. Very sad. Okay, panic payload. Tried. Wait, I can just. I don't know. I can just drop it in chat right here. Not chat, but in my VS Code window. Okay. Tried to fetch a resource of type event bus outcome from the world, but the resource does not exist. So. So back when we were saying we're gonna unwrap stuff, and if it's not in the empty component system, we deserve to burn. Well, unlucky us. But that being said, it wasn't an unwrap here, I think. Wait, try to do. So it wasn't the unwrap that I was talking about. So one thing is that specs doesn't check that the ECS resources match at compile time, so it's possible that something explodes. Yes. So as confirmed by Zester, we have indeed burned. But that is no problem. We can. Our servers are also burning, so it's a no big deal. No big deal. Okay, so search for insert event bus. And I'm not going to replace with anything right now, but let's take a look. Oh, so because I changed, what was the original thing I found and replaced? It was, I guess, vec of outcomes. Just I changed to event bus. Maybe not. I'm not sure. So we need to insert one into the ECS. Okay, let's see what we're looking at here. Okay, so event bus for server event. Does that just mean I go like this and like outcome? SFX event. So that's librs. Basically, we need inserting a vec outcome to be replaced with an event bus. Wherever the heck that is. Okay, server event. I feel like it makes sense. If everywhere we have a server event, we just go like this and outcome. So this seems like, well, actually, wait, is this one registering on the client or something? Okay, well, I'll leave that like that for now, but as Esther mentioned, to search for insert vec new. Insert vec. Oh wait, it was right there. Okay, so does that mean we remove this one, or we just make this in I think we just swap this out for the event bus one. Event bus, which I think means that the other two changes I made probably don't need to be like that. Event bus. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this one, and where was the other one? Just trying to go back in time and find where I put it in. Is it like looping? Wait, is this it? Server event. All right, well, if I just go to search for this, then I'm sure. This one, yeah, it'll come right there. All right, so is it possible to regenerate the Gantt chart, by the way? It might be that we've unblocked unscheduling stuff. Okay, actually, that would be a really cool test. So I would do it by, I think, starting up the server on like my other server, getting 200 clients to join, which isn't the perfect representation, but I think it did have the same Gantt chart. And so once we make sure that everything is working well. Oh no, Veloren just crashed. That makes sense. Insert vec of outcome. So I think I removed that one because now we got the event bus there. Okay, so, and also I'm just gonna make a new branch here. Get status, get checkout, Angel. Change outcomes to event bus. Okay, I want to keep that one. I'll just be squashing it anyway, so I think I want everything here. I just want to make sure, because I know I did edit some other files when I was doing some other testing stuff. Well, I guess that was probably on the server, though, so I think everything here is fine. Okay. So that one is not super duper clean, but that's fine. And I guess I need to push as well. Git push. Git remote v. Okay, this is going to dev repo. That's good. Okay, so so I still need to cargo run locally because we do want to see that it doesn't crash when we start. Did Discord just crash? It does that. No, okay, it's still there. Okay, so stop screen, share screen, and we want to see Veloren, cool, single player, beep it a boop. And while that is running, I'm going to connect to my server. Ooh. Okay, so that looks okay. And then, so it hasn't crashed. I get audio, and Zester mentioned that I should be able to test if this works by firing an arrow and having a sound play. Kit. What kind of kits we have? Consumables, cultist, debug, endgame maybe. Tier 0. Inventory doesn't have enough slots. Oh, this is sad. Oh, now I have enough slots. Okay, cool. Kit 0. Does this give me an arrow? So, do I need? Wait, I need arrows to fire an arrow probably, if I had to guess. Oh, wait, no, it is firing an arrow, and I think I can hear things. Okay, I can certainly hear things. Ooh. Not bad. Okay. So let's hop back over to VS Code, and I'm going to get my server connected here. Debug has admin bow. Oh, so wait, I already have it, I suppose. Debug. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Whoa, that's a pretty cool bow. Not bad. Okay, so let me. Yes, NAT chart time or Gantt chart time. Let us do that. So I want to go to which VS Code? Not that one. Yes, okay, here we go. So this is on my server. Git pull. Git checkout. Angel. Wait, I did push it, didn't I? Git status. Let me just change over. Git remote -v. Okay, it's getting a lot. Oh yeah. Get checkout. And then what was a command? Cargo. Yeah, I want backtrace. I want Tracy. It wants to be release. Okay. So that's the server building. So once this is ready, then I'm going to be launching the clients from my local computer. And so I'll get that set up as well. What I should really be doing, I'm just going to reshare my screen so I can share an entire screen at once. Screen 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. That's way better. Now that's going to be like easy to change between stuff. Okay, so over here, while the server is getting ready, I want to run a command to start the swarm, and I feel like it's probably not in my bash history. Oh yes, I was trying to remember because like I know like I was able to figure it out today and was like, what path do I need to take to find like the right command? So I go to blog content, I find Abby's post about running the swarm, and then because I've done this a few times, I know at the end I have to put in, oh yes, release, because I want them to be fast, and then I think it is movement I want to be true. Then I want the number of them, which is going to be 200, and I want each one to have 10 view distance. Okay, and so I think that's right, but I'm also wanting to make sure I don't run out of RAM because I did that today and my system logged out, and I don't know why it doesn't reboot, it just logs out. That's interesting. But let's go look at bottom and see how much we got right now. All right, we're not doing great. What's taking up the most right now? Oh, Veloren and Rust Analyzer. So I'm gonna close Veloren. I'll leave Rust Analyzer running. Well, maybe. Firefox is also taking up a bit. Okay, whatever. I'll do 100 clients just because I know that should be fine. Okay, so server's still building. So that's going to take a minute or two. And then once that is ready, then I also want to make sure that we have our Grafana running, which is hosting on localhost 3000 right now. So let's go take a look. Okay. So nothing is running right now. That should be fine. I put up to 300 actually at one point. That was pretty cool. Taking a look through chat here. Oh yeah, so CC Gush is talking a little bit about the difficulties. Yeah, so big problems with concurrency, the architecture of Veloren, which is makes it difficult for the event, or which pretty much makes the event approach impossible. And the fact that Veloren uses systems in ECS and plugins require blocking access in the system to the whole ECS. Interesting. So what I was reading through a small portion of the ECS code, or not the ECS code, the plugin code, and there's definitely like some pretty cool, like as I was writing my own WASM, I'm like, okay, well how do we do it for Veloren? And so I'd go look and say like, oh, there's like a macro to set up the function so that it would like interface properly. And so that stuff's pretty cool. But yeah, I'd really like to dive deeper into some of the like actually what's happening or not really on both sides. I guess more on the Veloren side. Like, yeah, how is it tying into the ECS? Like, what is it doing? And so I presume what CC Gauch is mentioning here is that as soon as we add a plugin, then the plugin has access to like the entire, well, maybe the entire entity component system. And so it's like, or it maybe doesn't have access to all of it, but it like locks parts of it while it's using it. So yeah, that's an interesting predicament, or like how to go about like taking a look at that or something. All right, I'm just gonna get this to start now so that it can get to the point where, even if the server's not ready yet. So, and actually also for context, let's take a look at Veloren, Grafana.Veloren. So game server, and I want to look specifically at the wait for it to load here. Oh, wait, actually, do I have a loaded version already? Let me just load this one up so I don't have to double up on asking for stuff. I want to change some of our settings on Grafana because it updates pretty frequently. Okay, so this is it right now. I guess this looks probably at a specific frame and sees what it is. I am curious, like, what's the difference between this and a flame graph and the stuff that we see in Tracy? And so I know one of the things that I found out about flame graph recently is that it doesn't explicitly, like, when you look at how long something takes, flame graphs say this does not imply any order of things happening, or it only implies relative times to other things. It's not even in time units itself, as far as I know. Sorry, and also just to specify, this is the Gantt chart from the main game server. Like, I'm still waiting for our stuff to compile, so we do not have the numbers just yet. Also, as Esther is mentioning, we have to be very precise about how and when we think things. So much so that I think an actor model might be a better idea, where we treat each plugin as an actor running off its own thread or something. Yeah, so I think this would be really cool to think about. Oh, and then the other thing to mention is that this would suck for like bandwidth and latency, presumably because so if I understand the actor model correctly, I think this is more like the object-oriented of like the Smalltalk era, where you all state that an actor has doesn't, you never share memory of an actor, you just pass messages from one place to another. Yeah, as I've been like, I mean, I always like learning more about like type systems and languages and stuff like that, and I'm not as deep as I can be, but I've been hearing from I've heard from 3 people recently that learning Smalltalk is a good idea. And I learned it a little bit in the past for our compilers course at Carleton. It definitely could have been the approach that we took, I think wasn't necessarily the best, but it was from a few people I've seen, like Smalltalk is a good one to learn. This is basically what WASM forces us to do anyways. Yeah, so that does make sense, that like because of how just like WASM works in a sandbox, and that's to be expected. All right, so it crashed on the main stuff, but this is expected because the server's not up yet. The server, because I'm running it in release mode, is taking a little bit longer to get going here. Just checking for any important pings in Veloren right now. Yeah, okay, so right now, as part of like these discussions of optimizations, we've been talking about like what does it look like to upgrade to a different server? What will the cost look like? Is this the path that we want to go? Like, do we want to keep trying to just find more and more expensive hardware to go for? But where we're at right now, we've sort of reached like the upper limit of what we could do with like just normal cloud instances that Hetzner offers. And so on our Veloren Discord right now, I created a thread where we could talk about what the price of like server changes would look like. And so just in that thread, I'm just checking out some updates, and Sharp mentions like, why does it say we have 160 people? Or wait, does that say we have 160 people on a random day? What happened? Yes, and so this is very true. But also then, Sharp pointed out, it's cool to see that we're able to do this, especially that like this server was supposed to handle like a fourth of that many players, and so definitely, I mean, from where we came like 2 years ago, like this would be inconceivable to have like this much happening on a single server, and so definitely amazing. And I think it, yeah, I very much remember the feeling of like the first time we had like 80 people on, like that feeling to know like if the core developers make up 5 people, I don't know, like math with like that's like 15 times as much as the core developers of like people we know, and so like you can like those numbers are pretty tangible. But now it's that point that it's like, okay, we look at like oh, it's not the main game server, but like, we look at the main game server and it's like 116. It's like, oh yeah, that's pretty wild, but to us it's definitely like a lot more about like the systems working together at this point. And so yeah, quite a large difference. Okay, so server's still compiling. Since I'm like building the release server on my server, like my home lab, my home lab is pretty awesome because it has 24 threads on the server, which is great for when it has like to compile all of the different crates. That can be really efficient, but its single core clock speed is not as high as my desktop, or like pretty much any desktop CPU probably. And so since the final step of building a Rust program is like the linking phase, well, not just the linking phase, but also link time optimizations, that's the thing that will take significantly more time. And so we are just waiting on that. And actually I can toss this. Oh, what the heck? We can just go like this and like that so we can see how it's coming along. So yeah, I think for myself, my goals over the short term, at the meeting today, I think we got to a point where we said we could buy this more. So essentially, like our current server that we use, the main game server, it's about 50 euros a month, and the one we're looking at is 96 euros a month. But actually, I can just, we're waiting on stuff to compile. I can show off this kind of stuff. Okay, so right now we're using a cloud instance from Hetzner. Okay, so cloud instances, pricing, and just to be specific, since I'm Canadian, I don't pay any VAT prices. So if you go to Hetzner's site, you'll see different numbers. But our main server is the CPX51, so that's 50 euros a month. You get 16 vCPUs, a decent amount of RAM. Veloren is much more CPU hungry than it is RAM hungry. But with the CPX51, we've been able to run sub 100 players pretty well. But once you get above 100, then it essentially, like, the tick times start taking a lot longer, and that's a pretty big problem. And so yesterday I switched this over to a CCX52, which gives us 32. It says vCPUs, but like they're not. So these vCPUs like map to real CPUs, or CPU threads rather, whereas these ones down here map to shared threads. And so we do get better performance with this, but it's significantly more expensive. And it's like, okay, well, if we need this for the current number of players we have, then let's just take a look at some other server stuff. And so we're looking at these, but I will come back to this since we have finished compiling here. And so the server is running, or it's working on getting going. Let's see. Okay, so this is going to complain because the server is not fully booted up just yet. Okay, so while we are still waiting for that, and I don't think you could give me a message on this end, but it's probably 30 seconds or so. So for the price that we're paying, it would only be 5 euros more to go with this one right here. Wait, can I? Okay, cool. So it'd be 5 euros more to go with this one right here, and this one would give us detailed view. Is that what I want? Oh, okay. So for 54 euros, we would get 16 threads, and this is we already have one of these dedicated servers, and we use it for like the rest of our infrastructure stuff. And that would be about equivalent to wherever I had the cloud stuff. That would be about equivalent to the 269 euro option. Wait, well, actually, no, it'd be about equivalent to this one right here, because they both have 16 threads that they could use. RAM is about the same. But then what I was suggesting is we go with this one up here. And the biggest reason for this is that it has Zen 3 cores instead of Zen 2. And I don't know everything about like the lowest level, and I know you can't necessarily like just compare and say, oh, this number is higher than this number, so it's better. But I am pretty confident that it would give us a okay, so that's working. It would give us a better or a better ability to handle like the main thread of what we're doing. And so essentially we have a lot of cores that could do a lot of work, but the main problem is that they're not getting work fast enough to be maxing out their capabilities. And so this would help with it for a certain extent. And then they also have like this special right now where you don't have to pay for their setup fee. And so we're looking at doing 1 month of this one. And so we're just having discussions on that. But back to the topic on hand, let us take a look and see. Okay, so all 100 clients in theory have started back up. And I'm thinking, okay, so this last 6 hours, if I go to the last 5 minutes, we have, okay, so we do see server ticks. It doesn't show any players, but that should be fine. I do know I was having issues earlier with like this graph showing stuff properly, but since we do see that tick times are pretty high, then I think that means that we are definitely putting in work into the server. And then also, just to show off, so this is the server one. Actually, let's just go htop so you can see. So each CPU is gunning pretty hard. So each one is definitely putting in a decent amount of work. Yeah, we can see that there are quite a few tasks that are running. Let's go back to bottom so that we can take a look at. Wait, hello. There we go. Yeah, so we can see that there's definitely a lot of stuff happening. Now let us. I sort of want to wait until it cools down on getting everybody's chunks rendered, because I think just rendering the chunks of 100 different like 100 different players isn't necessarily indicative of like what happens while stuff is running. But that being said, I think we can still probably open up the chart and take a look. Yeah, so also I don't know about this chart right here. So this suggests that there's so much work that's happening that stuff that is queued has to wait half a minute to start doing stuff. So I don't know about that. Where is my well, I actually, well, now that I'm thinking, I do hope that, so Xmax did mention to me today, we might need, oh, it also depends on the Gantt plugin now. Okay, so I think I have to figure out how to install this plugin first. Plugins, Gantt. Hopefully it's this easy. Come on, come on. Okay, what's the name of the other one? So it's called System Gantt Chart. What I'm curious about is if it didn't get imported because it doesn't have the way of showing it off. Okay, maybe not. So let's go back to here. Let's go browse dashboards. Oh, I guess. Okay, and now I need to go to our infrastructure repo. Can't. Oh, maybe I didn't pull. Maybe that's why. Get pull. Gantt. Okay, cool. So I just had an outdated dashboard. So let us create a imported dashboard with this information. And I'm hoping was able to find stuff. Hello. Prometheus took time on the server. Okay. Okay, so it does this annoying thing where like it's not able to find like the source or whatever, but let's just go find the one I'm looking for. System Gantt chart. So let's view this and let's edit and I didn't even know how this solves a problem. Like when I was clicking around last time, it just worked. Okay, what's going on here? Last 15 minutes. Okay, this is asking for system start time. Okay, so we definitely have that information. Just gonna try refreshing it. I don't think that will help. And data sources, I don't think there's anything special going on here. .5.2, so that should be all right. I do want to see this chart. Yeah, I didn't even know what like helped fix it before. JSON model. Nope, that's not correct. I don't think there's anything on here that would require me to change it from just exactly the same version as we have. Dashboard has been changed by someone else. Just messaging XMac to see if he has any recommendation. All right, XMac might join or just leave a message with me, either way. Yeah, so I have no idea why it just like you literally click on it and it reruns the query or whatever. So I guess it's possible that something's not installed correctly with the Gantt chart. Hard to know. Okay. Hello, XMac.
Hello, folks.
So essentially, we're just like at the end where I have it running on the server. I have like 100 bots connected, and then like this weird thing happens where, like when I load in the JSON file that we have, I am able to like everything will load up. And last time it did work just fine. I did just install the Gantt chart plugin. But then, so what I'm curious about is essentially this Veloren game server thing right here needs to match what Prometheus's job is exporting, right?
Yep.
And I mean, in theory, it's working because we can see that it's doing stuff down here just fine. And so like for example, when I go into one, I can go here and then I click on the query, and then when I click off it, then it loads. And now if I apply it, now it's happy.
That is weird.
Yeah. And so essentially, I don't care if I see the rest of the stuff at this point. It's like, okay, whatever. But I just want to see this one. And so what I'm curious about is if we can do something in some way to try and get this one working.
Okay, so can you show me the Grafana site somehow?
You mean like
just the Grafana, the Prometheus site. Sorry, start with the Prometheus.
Oh, Prometheus site. I started running in a Docker container.
Okay,
let me that up here.
You just have configured the job to export Veloren game server and query just the official server, right?
This one's querying mine, and so essentially I have metrics running on.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, yeah, that, but essentially,
okay,
yeah, I just changed it out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And
so basically,
that should be okay.
What is the data source in the Grafana?
So this one tests successfully, and as far as I know, like all of the endpoints are giving stuff as we'd expect.
Can you scroll up a little bit? A bit more. Access type is set to server, which is the correct way to do it. Actually, I have no idea. Except for maybe try another browser and just for once, maybe there's some weird cache behavior. Because I know that Grafana is actually one of those weird softwares that are loading, like the base page is offline cached. But then if you do a requery, it just will directly do the query to another backend. So
yeah,
it does a lot of offline caching. So maybe if you just try another browser and open this Grafana in its like Chrome,
that's what you're saying.
might just work. Because I mean, if it would not work, it would be a hint for it. But sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. This is suspicious. So
this is definitely fair. Okay. So it looks like the same issue. But so all I really care about is I just want to like okay, it's not gonna let me paste in a new panel, I think. So what I'm thinking is that since I can see everything else except for so I can like do that hack or whatever. Then it seems like it would be problems on maybe the plugin I'm using for this. So let's go check that out quickly. If I go to plugins,
Yeah, the plugins I had just pressed the install button. That's it. There is nothing even configured or something. When you hit the refresh button in the Grafana dashboard, nothing happens, right?
yeah. So like this one right here, I guess like I could turn it off and like do a full refresh. And so the weird thing is like there's one point where I deleted the dashboard that I had open, and then I just made a new one, and it worked just fine. Now, actually, maybe a better idea is I just nuke the Grafana and then like the Grafana Docker image, and then restart it.
Yeah, probably that would be my. Also. Can you go for once to the settings of the game server? There, top right in the dashboard. There's a settings wheel next to the save.
Yes.
And sometimes there's some weird stuff configured, time zones, auto refresh, variables. Can you go to variables? This is where this variable is.
I've made some changes to this earlier, but not on like this current version.
Right, and this is just Veloren game server. And Veloren game server is also the pod. So. And is it always? Yeah, it's always connected to the job because otherwise it would not be.
Yeah.
The echo, it would not be seeable if it's done. It looks from my side that Grafana, if you press the refresh button, it's not even trying to do anything. Right? It looks. You have this F12 developer menu?
Or yeah, well, if I go like this one right here, so if I bring one of these in, then like and apply this, then we should see.
Like, you have this F12 developer window, right?
Yeah.
Can you see if you press the refresh button, if it's even...
Yeah, so it looks like that's good.
Annotation query. But it's just doing 3 queries. Let me try it from... Does the same happens on the official dashboard? On the official
should be fine.
Then can you open it and also do F12 and see if you also see 3 queries if you go offline with this?
Yeah, I'm guessing this one's gonna be like super a lot of them. Yeah. So I guess we get a query for each one.
Okay. And maybe there is some on your side. Maybe there's some certificate issue that it's going to some other service and it's aborting because of a security. Can you go to F12 menu again? Well,
I think you would have to make the query to even. Okay, so there's 3 right now, and then if I like enable players online by doing this like
then it works.
I go like that, and I click here. Okay, now that's good. So now I'm curious what it'd be like 4 requests.
Is there anything in the console log? If you in this possible.
Well,
hold on.
Cannot read properties.
Possible unhandled rejection. If you scroll down a bit or up.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go like
possible unsecure connection or something like this.
It doesn't look like that. What I can do, so I'm on 8.5.2, whereas we use 8.5.0, so I can try reverting to that version.
Yeah, you can try that once, or maybe try to set up a Let's Encrypt certificate, or maybe...
Yeah, everything's localhost, so I feel like that should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Docker environment, right? It should work with everything being not secure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is common practice to have a dedicated reverse proxy of some kind, and...
Yeah, exactly. Docker kill 5.9.
Okay, what does...
So I'll kill Grafana, and then I'm gonna use Grafana with the tag.
Aus anonymous dashboards, minimal refresh interval, plugins increase. No.
Okay. Grafana is ready in use. Docker rm 59. Okay, so localhost 3000. Reload. Okay. So I should be able to go to the data sources, and actually first let's grab the plugin. Gantt. Import a dashboard, and this should be clean as it comes. Oof. And we are on 8.5.0 now. Okay, I'm just gonna discard paste panel. Okay. So this is like a completely blank canvas. I think that's what we have it called. Okay, so if I can't get this going, what's the next best way to try and see how, if it's doing any better? I guess Tracy, sorta. Just I guess comparing tick times. It'd be really nice to have. Gantt would just like fix all the problems. Well, okay, let's see if I can just make a Gantt chart that uses some different piece of information.
I mean, you're looking at a specific system, probably, right? You don't want to fix. You don't want to do much. You only want to optimize one system, or
anywhere that uses outcomes. So like anywhere that has or that queues up an outcome.
Right, you're in this outcome thing.
Yeah, so I don't know what the best way would be to see.
I mean, the easiest way would be probably just to go to the official one and modify it that way that you also measuring your instance.
Wait, so that like it can look at my.
I mean, this would be the lazy one.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, this is the.
No, I definitely see.
Just
well,
that
one thing that
over.
I'm partly unsure about that, like it could be, has to do with when I set up the job, I had it stored as like a different name. I had it like just as Veloren. But that being said, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just went and I deleted the dashboard, and then when I created it next time, it was good to go. Trying to think of, okay, well, how about
What is
are
when
there
you create a dashboard from just create a new dashboard and just enter your own query like this?
Oh yeah, okay, that could be a possibility. So I'm just gonna delete this one too. Okay.
Just that new
panel.
and then you can like chunks requested or something like this, or chunks, or tick time, total tick time, or something like this. Right? Curve is good. No, don't go that complicated in Gantt. Just
well, but I know the other things work because I did have a dashboard a while ago that did show everything. And actually, if I
but I mean, no, also the other graphs are not working, right? Yeah, the graphs are
well, no, they did in the previous version. So let me check out. Let me check out the older version I had.
Oh, what is the problem? Is the Gantt chart, was it working or was it not working?
So the Gantt wasn't, but I had like a old version of the Grafana that we used. And so let me just try importing that and seeing if I'm able to see anything like this and import. And wait, okay, I guess that was like overview. But if I go to this, I would presume I go import a wait, what the heck? Okay, yeah, so that works, but then I don't have the Gantt chart.
That works, but you don't have the Gantt chart. What is when you just edit your Gantt chart yourself there? Just
yeah, okay, so I just go here.
Add new panel.
I think
or
I can add from copy.
You can even copy the part of this.
Okay, I think. Okay, maybe I can't copy. I don't know what format it copies in. Copy. Okay. Okay, well, I'll just go add a panel again. Busy. Does it let me? No. Okay, so title I don't care about. Data source. So the first one is an expression. I feel like I put something wrong in there. Oh, because I guess it automatically adds. What else do I need to choose? Start task time, start end time. Okay, so add an expression. No. Add a query. Yes. Is that the task end time? Is that correct? What's the task name?
The task name.
Yeah.
Oh, this is introducing yourself is complicated. Okay, so you have to go to transform
On the right hand side.
on the left are the queries, and if you scroll up, there's a tab, and the tab is called transform. Right
Yes.
above it, and there you have a merge transform. Don't ask me why. This is Grafana magic.
Oh, wait. Add transform merge.
Right. Okay. Okay. Go to query again. All those queries needs to be instant queries and need to return a table. This is in the options.
Instant
And need to
and
return a
table.
And now maybe for the Gantt you can choose, if you scroll to on the right side, you scroll up. Okay. Final experimental. No. So start time, filter size, text time, choose. Can you go to text and see what you can choose there? Is it even choosable?
No, it doesn't look like it.
What did I do wrong? Maybe can you remove the merge again?
I think
On the
that, so. Oh wait,
Merge.
merge has no effect when applied on a single frame.
Yeah, just remove the merge for now. I will quickly look it up what's in the original. It's a merge. Okay. Queries. Tabled instant. The legend must be the system. In the legend, in the options. Left side queries.
Left
options.
side queries options.
No, in the query A, the options. Go back to the queries. There's grab options, and then the legend. You will need to choose a system as a name. There's a double curly bracket system. If you choose custom or whatever, yeah, system needs to be inside. And this needs also be done for query B.
Okay.
And now you should be able. What does it say now? Can you run the queries for once? Just press on the one query button. Maybe this helps.
I feel like that does it automatically. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, in the query options, minimal query term instant, and we have a Gantt chart. And then when you go try now the merge thingy on the merge, I don't care. Can you save it for once?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then maybe just press the apply button once. Oh god, someone is pinging me all the time. That's you.
I'm just reading through our
You are
JSON
promoted to be next
options and field assignments.
By the way. Okay. Yeah, they can enable the experimentals and the log to intents, but this will not. Can you choose text now or start time? Is it possible to choose now?
And maybe we have to do size by first, but there's no field to do.
No, size by is not be needed. What happens? You have somehow something with the merge is wrong, because the merge is saying.
Yeah, merge has an effect when applied on a single frame.
Can you delete the merge again? Okay. And go back to the queries, and somehow one query explain system start time. Can we increase the time frame maybe? Veloren games was also.
Like instead of last 6 hours?
Yeah. Can you make it 24 just to be sure that there is data? Okay, because in some cases it looked like weird. Can you copy those queries and copy those? Can you copy the first query and in a second tab, open the second tab where you can go to the.
Right here, you mean?
No. Browser tab, a second browser tab where you open Grafana
Oh,
and
yeah.
then go to the experimental on the left side is where you can check out any query without creating a dashboard. How is it called? Explore. To the explore button. You may need to log into this Grafana instance or click on general. Can you click on the Grafana button? There should be more on the left side than just two things. You're not logged in on the official one. Can you open it on your one, on your instance? Sorry.
Oh, on mine.
On your instance. Not in this tab, but in another tab. Yeah.
Yeah.
The explore, the compass.
Yes.
And now copy your query inside there, just to be sure that the query is returning any results. And run query. It is returning results for something. Okay, this is good. And the other query is also hopefully returning any results. Okay, I'll go back to the first. Edit. What does this? Okay. So we have this there. We have it instant format as table. Query options are instant table system, and we cannot set something on the right hand side. Is that still correct? The text and start time are not pressable. Text and start time. What the hell is wrong?
So I wonder if when it had there's a checkbox right here for the task start time, if that's allowed, at that point. But
instant and table is usually exactly what you want. Can you press table view? Does it give you anything?
Nothing fancy.
And you also have not hidden anything. Did you have? Can you scroll up on to the query A bit?
Yes.
No, nothing is hidden there. Can you just export that JSON and I export the JSON of the official one,
yeah.
and we just compare the JSONs?
Yes, let me do that.
Yeah,
so I just
JSON.
wait.
Oh wait, view and then inspect JSON. Now press on the title in the view. On the title. No, not on that title. The title of the thingy you named it. Penalty. Inspect JSON.
Oh, inspect. Oh, I see.
Penalty JSON. Okay. So this is a Gantt chart. Title transformation. It's not doing an merge. Targets. Targets. First data source. Editor code. Exemplar is false. The format is table, right? Are you comparing those bells? Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find the. Wait, is this the right one? Oh wait, no, this should be down. Oh yeah, okay. So targets.
Targets and targets.
Data source looks good.
Editor mode is what is the editor mode on your things? Editor mode. Code. Code is good. Sort by start time. No, sort by start time is usual, right? Ascending, experiment to log to
Yeah, so I definitely see that there's like these are like the fields that you were able to fill out that I can't. Or that's blocking me from.
Okay. What happens when you... Okay, is there anything else that... Yeah, I would probably just say like... What happens when you press merge again?
I'm just gonna look up the error.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Looking up error codes. An argument is missing. Why am I missing arguments?
I think one possibility is if there was an update to this plugin that made a problem.
Well, actually, the last update was 2 months ago, and this person wasn't that into updating it often. The last update is 3 months ago on this GitHub. So I doubt it a bit. Push.
I'm trying to think. I guess it wouldn't be terrible to try and just like expose it to the internet and then have like log into our like official Grafana and just like swap over the. Well, I guess it would have to add a data source, which shouldn't be so great.
Yeah, I would just push your Prometheus backend, or not your Prometheus server, but just modify the Prometheus server to. Yeah, I would modify our Prometheus server to scrape from your server.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would modify our Grafana to give you a name. The only thing that you would need is probably some semi-constant IP address.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your IP address changes...
Yeah, no, mine's pretty stable.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit unsatisfying, of course, to not solve the problem. But, I mean, we are not here for playing with Grafana.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, we can give that a go. I'll expose that from my router.
You can write it to me in Discord, your name, IP address, and then I will set it up. And yeah. I will probably push it to the not the production Grafana, but the staging Grafana.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay, infrastructure. Trees and games are Grafana. Where are you? Prometheus, here we go. I need to add you as a target. And I give you a job name.
Alright. I forwarded it, so it should just be port 9090 on there.
Download Veloren.net. Is there shipper backend? I have no idea. Okay. Sure, here we go.
What's the URL for this one? Is it staging.grafana?
Grafana.staging. This one is off your port. This is the port you just sent me. Redirect to the 14005 to the Veloren port, right?
You want? Oh yeah, you want.
I was
Veloren.
directly scraping from your server, not your Prometheus.
Would it make more sense to just add it as a data source? Well, no, because then it would overlap.
Yeah, it's too complicated to.
Okay. Yeah, I'll change it up.
What do you want to use then? The official Veloren port or any other port?
Yeah, I'll use 1405.
Okay.
And so I'll just take a second to get set up
Angel
there.
on Fire game server will then be your job name. And I will add these as a query option. Veloren is current selected options. Staging. Here we go. Diff, give it a diff. False. Here we go. Poof. Staging, Grafana. Staging. .net. Nope, it's not yet done.
Oh, and sorry, it's not 1990. It is
Yeah, everything's good.
5 metrics. Oh, yeah, I guess it's. Oh wait, yeah, okay, thanks. Let me still check if it's still provisioning.
Is your server running?
It is running. I think it's running. Actually, let me just check to make sure it is. Oh, and actually, I guess I can just like ping it locally. Okay, wait, I can't access that locally either. So what's going on? So server is running. Is this a different IP? Oh, I have disconnected from the instance. It's just reconnecting. Proxmox, hello. Oh, oopsie. Oh. I ran out of RAM.
It is an oopsie. It might also be the problem because when I just switched over to your thing, the Gantt plugin also said like, oh, I have nothing checked. But maybe it just has nothing because it don't have any data.
Let me just check and see if I need to reboot it. Is it okay? Hello? Okay, there's just like a lot in swap space, I guess. I'm just going to reboot the VM. 1 sec. Okay, so it crashed at like 20 minutes ago. So I think that would have been after we were trying to debug stuff. So I don't think that was a problem.
Let's see.
It could be that would. So it was pinned at like a ton of RAM for quite a while. I don't know why RAM is so high in that case. Also, it's not happy about getting the reboot request here. It failed to reboot. Oh, something with. I can just show this. Oh, okay, a lot of Docker images had to be unmounted or something. We're waiting for swap.image. Can I just like force reboot it? Oh, cool. Stop. Yeah, let's stop it. Nice.
Some more. Just work. Unwrap. Oh. I'm still not into functional programming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially like pros like Zestora who are joining like 500 functions that are each not changing variables, but just defining an operator which will then at the end be applied. Like this is this weird kind of thinking that someone is doing that is an expert at doing like writing their own compilers, right? And I'm struggling with an unwrap or because I forgot the name of it, right? Because I need this.
I feel that. Yeah, looking at some of the other people who work on some of the projects I work on, it's like super crazy to see everything working together. Zester just messaged me. A monad is a monoid in the category of endofunctors. What does this sentence mean? Okay, I should really reload this. A monad is so. I tried learning a little bit about monads when I was doing Haskell of recent.
Yeah.
I do not know what a monoid is, and endofunctors. Oof, big word.
Sounds like complicated.
Indeed. Okay, so this should be good. CD into git Veloren.
Move focus, which does not implement the copy train. This is correct. And that was std mem take. Was mem take. This is one cool function. std mem take, right? std mem.
Run.
That.
So, as Esther mentioned, monads are cool. An option is a monad, which I think makes sense. So Haskell has like just, which is
yeah.
I don't remember that exactly. They're values that wrap other values. Wait, is that what a monad is? And then define some operation upon them. So is like a mutex a monad? Because if that's just the way that I can describe why mutexes are so cool in Rust, then that makes so much more sense if that's what a monad is.
Don't ask me. I'm out. I can only focus on two things. I'm focusing on my program and Grafana, and
that's it. That's all.
This is all.
So as Esther mentioned, kind of, you could probably make it a monad.
Key. Board value does not live long enough. I don't like that fact.
Okay, so server is coming up. This time I will. Well, I wonder why it crashed, but the CPU was still. Oh no, the entire thing just crashed. That's why. Bottom. Okay. So Grafana should be, or like the metric should be exporting. Actually, let me just try the non-local version.
Oh, I just need to pass the whole queue.
Lists are also monads. Concept
I have to clone it. It's not copy. Okay, that works. Didn't expect that.
Oh wait, okay, server's up, and then I just need to spawn 100 bots.
So, can I wait? If empty.
So that's just mentioning lists are also monads, or the concept of mutation. They have two operators, unit and bind. Unit takes an instance of the inner value and then creates a monad value. Okay, so like whatever's inside the option. Bind sort of maps monads of the same kind, but with different inner types together. So for option, it would be like a unit, a generic function called unit, which takes in some type, and
a map and return some other type.
Wait, auth server not trusted. Oh yeah, I didn't run with no auth. Oh yeah, I need to do that on the server side.
It works already, by the way.
Yeah, I just have to restart because the
it just
the part does. Oh,
yeah,
sorry. One second.
It just worked for a second.
I just need to do no auth.
And now it restarted, so
should be up momentarily, and then once it's ready, then I can spawn lots.
Just go to your staging server and you can click it out in the variables list there.
I guess let me go. Okay, so we're on Grafana staging, and it should be like in the server variables list. I should be able to say, okay, Angel and Fire game server. Okay, cool. Okay, so we do have a Gantt chart. Very good.
It's all agent. I don't know.
Okay, well it's coming up. It's working on it.
I mean, just yeah.
So I'm just gonna spawn 100 of them, and that should give us. Okay, so since they're spawning, it should be fine.
So how do you spawn 100 of things?
It's a command that Abby posted in blog contents, but let's see if I can find it here.
Is it via the bot or?
I just run this locally, so cargo run features. So Imbris wrote a swarm thing, basically.
No auth. You don't have an auth, and then clever.
Okay, and also I don't think this will be fully representative of what we see on the server itself. But what would be I think what would be where we'd be able to see differences is if we see potentially different things overlapping. Also, Zester is still watching, so I imagine Zester will be able to comment on anything we see here.
Oh.
Okay, so do I have Grafana.Veloren.net? Let me just pull up two different ones here. Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what the best way to necessarily show this. Maybe if I just go left side, right side.
It's not that far. Okay, it's a staircase though going down. They all look the same.
Yes. Okay, here, let's... also, I don't know how much I'm pinning the server. Maybe I need to add more bots. They are just moving around, so like they're not interacting with it.
They are. I think they are doing work. Tick times of.
Also, does this one show off CPU?
Right.
No, okay, it doesn't show CPU stuff. So I don't want them to refresh, and I just want to find one that looks like it's representative of, like a frame that's representative of the most. Okay, so that frame looks pretty good. Okay, so buff, nothing's buffing, but that makes sense because there's probably nothing that would trigger buffs. I'm trying to see if there's anything that is noticeable. So it does seem like the best thing to be able to notice is if something can start before something else, right? Like, so right now, Fizz, everything is waiting until Fizz is done. And because we see stuff starting before Fizz is over, does that imply that something happened because of this?
Either that or I have a problem in my calculation of this curve. The Gantt chart, I do a +1 at one point, and I have no idea why I'm doing +1. Probably this +1 needs to be removed.
Okay, it looks like that might have been an anomaly. I'm just trying to find somewhere that has like a...
Yeah, but basically, you won't find them without modifying because they are explicitly told to be that way. Let me give you an idea on what I'm talking about.
Just to mention, it could also just be that specs randomizes it.
Yeah, specs is applying some fancy logic in VC related, maybe. I'm just linking you the document number 1, and then document number 2.
Oh, like okay, in live in fields.
But there we have like a definition, and there we define every system, and in the end we define its dependencies. For example, for the for the physical system, we say it needs to run after interpolation system, controller system, mount system, and stat system. And we have some other systems that needs to run after physical system.
Oh yeah, okay, I see. This is where it's defining.
And we give that information to specs, and then specs says, okay, I will make some plan, and then I just execute this plan.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then in the physics system itself, we are defining our read data and write data. Right, this is the other tab. And I think the screen just froze, but...
Oh, sorry, I didn't switch over to that one. I was just thinking in my head for a second. What line?
You have to scroll a bit, I don't know. System data, just search for system data. Will be, well, 1. Maybe just 1. The 1 function is usually 1 buckets. Oh, yeah, right. And then this system data, physics data is physics read, and physics write. Line 105.
Line 105.
So, right, we have a huge list of read systems and write systems, and we cannot run in parallel with anything that is writing to anything that what we are reading, or that is reading the same thing we are writing.
So one thing that we went through when we were fixing some of this is that we changed out some of the writes for reads in some locations. Whenever we were able to use, and so this probably changed into a read, but whenever we could change it from a vec to a event bus.
Yeah, actually, there lies something which I had planned for a long time. Defining and don't writing so many things.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideally, in the theory of ECS systems, you should read many, but only write 1 or 2, and don't just. And what we tend to have is monolithic systems that try to solve every problem at once. And for example, we also have multiple systems that are modifying the position.
Yeah.
And ideally, I would only see one system is responsible for all the position things, and then solve the problem via an intermediate step where a system can send you some event like, hey, I have requested that you have a knockback, which is not so to say, right?
Yeah.
And this is then passed to the physics component or the movement component, and this will do all the adjustments to the position. And the other systems, they don't even touch position. And I've seen that some systems are mutable touching position, and I always get like some gut feelings when I see this. Especially not only talking to position, but also talking to other things. There is this idea of separating everything in a few more steps, which will of course increase our costs that we are creating more data and sending more data between systems.
Yeah.
But we can parallelize more, and we have more points where we could attach plugins to. If we have like a big system like physics and we would have a plugin that wants to modify physics, it's almost impossible without the plugin the complete new physics engine, so to say.
Yeah.
And if we separate this into multiple steps then and message it somehow, then we could use this as an anchor point for plugins. So for example, when you hit an enemy, you don't directly reduce the health, but then you first add this request to reduce health to some kind of intermediate queue or event bus or whatever technique we are using. This then could be, there could a plugin attached to this and say, yeah, I see you made this hit, but you don't match the current permissions in this area to be in PvP, right? If you want to have like personal PvP areas, I don't know, then makes the just removes the damage entry and not applies it, so to say.
Yeah.
This is
what I'm curious about is like when it comes to refactoring parts of this, would it look like just taking a look at what is actually being done to like the ECS systems when like they're being written, or when they ask for writing permissions, or would it be along the lines of like having to justify every time that you use a write instead of just a read?
Can you give the first thing again?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking like either you can do it from the perspective of like, okay, I see that in this function it's requesting read or write access to this component or whatever, and so then you have to like go through and take a look at why like it's doing it there, or could it be moved somewhere else. But the goal is to try and make as much as possible into read, right? Like that's like sort of the idea.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if like a proactive way is like every time that, well, I don't know how well it would work, but like every time you request write access to, or not really request, but you write in the code that you're using write, then you could like tag it with like, well, I don't think that would be like, it would have to have a lot of context.
You could add a comment to it and justify why it's
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, realistically speaking, we cannot do that everywhere. We can improve in this. We can improve probably much, but having a like for all 100% strict rules, and probably Desta will also agree there, then always need to be exceptions. That needs to be some complicated stuff. Otherwise, it just won't work. But maybe it's possible then to try to reduce this number of cases to an extent that we can get rid of most writes, or can say like a single thing that is needed is only ever written by or modified by one system. Like one system is responsible for position.
Oh yeah.
And saying
that sounds a lot more like the actor pattern.
Responsible for the position, and other systems should not modify position. Other systems might give physics systems some information, like do some pre-calculation, whatever, but they should not modify then the position itself. Maybe phrase it in the way that is. Though I fear that this, I mean, we can work on this, and there will definitely be multiple steps possible because you cannot do everything in once. But I don't know if this is something that we can quickly apply, or it will drastically move the hard rules like this are prone to cause issues. Yeah, exactly. What I would imagine what Zesta would say, and I agree with you, Zesta, here. That hard rules are probably never applicable in this way, but it minimize rights. Right. For example, what I'm currently doing for the terrain stuff is, instead of, like, we have multiple places where we are sending messages to clients, Terra messages. And now I'm creating an intermediate, just a queue, just a simple vec that is filled by the multiple systems. Just fill this queue, just with the key of the chunk, and the actual sending is then done in one single, simple, hopefully simple system, which is just reading. If I can get it to do with just the things, the entity, the client, this queue, and then the terrain system, and that's it. Writing one datum and reading 4, and maybe removing code application. So, of course, this is at the cost of having more systems, right? But this also gives us better insight.
Yeah, I think one thing that I also noticed today was, like, when we went and did some of, we changed several writes to reads, and I might even need to do a few more. But because a write implies that you need, like, mutable access to something, which means that you can be the only one. But then we changed it to a structure that allowed for interior mutability, so that we sort of we figured out in a different way how we want data inside of it to change. But according to specs doesn't need to care about how we're doing it. It can still schedule stuff however it likes. And so yeah, I think that's an interesting one. It's like, when do you trust yourself to do something more better with interior mutability? And it seems like you want to try and do a lot of work where possible, because specs is just trying to get one system to go one system to the next, whereas you're trying to do, okay, this big piece of data needs to have stuff added to it and read from it and stuff like that. And so there's like two different jobs sort of.
I just see that the event bus is just using a mutex, right? Mutex spec queue.
Yes. But that isn't mutex interior mutability? Well, no.
Yes.
Well, according to the event, relative to the event bus, it is, I feel. I might be mistaken there.
Mutex means the event bus has internal mutability because it internally uses a mutex. Problem there is it needs to make use of this mutex every time something is done with the event bus.
Yeah.
So when we have multiple systems trying to access the event bus, there is some point that it might get just overcrowded, and if everyone is just hammering on this event bus, we will end up with single threaded. Even worse, because we will be doing, like, taking locks and releasing locks all the time. So use delayed mutation. What's what the emitter is?
That's what the emitter is. One sec, let me pull up the code for that.
The emitter is.
What delayed mutation is.
I see. That's actually quite cool. We grab an emitter for the bus, right, and then we only apply. That's okay. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Just. That
was probably me not explaining the full.
It's smart. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So we are only hammering, like, if we have 20 systems, only hammering 20 times to it, and 20 times in one tick is okay. That's no problem. 200 million times would be a problem. Okay, it means that only. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Though of course,
like, I guess, like, the code I have up here.
Writing to the event bus is totally fair. So, but we also need to think, when are we reading from the event bus and when are we
like, who's requesting stuff from it
to modifying, because when we are reading from the event bus,
I think there's only one reader.
Yeah, and if I am correct, for the event bus, the reading of the event bus is done outside of the state tick. So in the this is in the is it
yeah, one sec.
Events,
it's right. Wait,
receive all.
did I implement?
Those are then the events, and these events are then matched.
Well, I thought I used it in a second place. Maybe entity sync outcomes. Yeah, so I re-implemented it here because before it this is where it would consume it. Well, I am curious on where how the other places were using it, but in this case right here, it turns it into a vec of outcomes.
Yeah,
and
but this is okay. If you use this in a system itself, it's okay. But for I think, if I'm correct, for the event bus, it's used outside the static. So we are also outside of specs and included rayon for all our parallelization. So we need to be, not that it's bad, but we need to be careful at this point that we are not overloading the event bus because if we are sending, should scale pretty well, right? Of course, it only works when you do care about ordering and stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. But
yeah,
if you
so
are
basically
using it
we just throw stuff at
internally,
it,
just from sending from multiple systems, what are you doing right now, right? Multiple systems emit stuff via your new outcome bus. Yeah, outcome bus probably, right? It's not a bus for events, but for outcomes.
Or it's an event bus, but it just holds outcomes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, maybe this class needs to be renamed to bus or whatever.
I think it's just used for
front-end events probably, right? This is the official use there. Or what was or server events or...
Okay, so
the server
oh yeah, server event uses event bus, and then in this case we're using outcomes as part of which sort of makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you are emitting in systems and consuming in systems, you are all fine. You're probably even 200 times better than this vec struct, yeah. So it's good, cool.
Yes, awesome.
Right,
I think we'll probably call it here though. I'll get like this MR all set up and stuff, just because we have been going for 3.5 hours now. So
that's totally
I've
fine.
Gotta get going.
I wanted to just discuss if you are fine with doing a scheduled bid tomorrow, because I got a AVE approved small fix for the buff system that is merged. And actually I was too lazy to test it properly, so I just wanted to hit a scheduled build for that tomorrow and see if it works in production or does not work in production. And if it works, we also would benefit from it.
So well, let's just code review it while we're here. How many? It's not too big. Okay, so essentially, do you want to walk me through this? I am interested.
Sure. Okay, so maybe can you go to the side-by-side view or something like this?
Yes.
Because I think this is maybe easier. Okay. We need to go just to this use section is nothing special.
Yeah, right here.
So first, in the buff system, we went over all entity, body, and physics states things. So everything that was an entity had a body and had a physics states. So
Is that this part? I don't think that's this part.
No, left side. We're first looking at
sorry, okay.
Entity, body, physics states. This is everything that is maybe, if I remember correctly, any player, any NPC, anything, any arrow. And it would join over those things, and then we stay on the left side. So there comes up. We just scroll over to the next thing till we see anything. 67 on the left side.
Oh,
we only want to see the left side for now. So put out underwater campfires. It checks if the body is a campfire lit and the body is in fluid, right? And if this is case, the body is no longer a campfire lit but just a campfire. And it will also trigger something else, a light emitters. It will remove the light emitter from the campfire. And so now this piece of simple code is now done complicated in multitask in parallelization. And the problem is that we are using some fancy tracking system that can track changes to the ECS system to sync them between server and client. But the system itself is not easy parallelism ready, so to say. There was an approach by Imus to fix this, but I think they need he needs to rely on fancy GAT. What is GAT again? I know it is
generic
GAT.
associated types. Yeah.
First GAT. Generic associated types, right? And fancy GOT implementations that are not yet done for it to work. Okay, so what are we doing? We are first implementing first line 70 saying we want to measure now that we are in parallel mode. This is just for statistics. Okay. Then we generate a vector to put out campfires in 71, and this is created from a parallel join over those three entities, right? With a map in it where we just have a proof span just for Tracy if we use it, and the code then is the same. If matches blah 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 blah. If it matches, then we store the entity. If not, we store none. Then we use some fold reduce algorithm. So the fold algorithm will create.
I'm just gonna change it from side to side.
Okay. Now side to side is probably better because now we have the fold algorithm. If I remember correctly, is for every. So this parallel code will be executed in blocks, right? We have like specs. Wayan will go ahead and see. We have like 200 entities we need to work on, and we have 32 cores. But we are not splitting it up in all 32 cores, but maybe just in 4 cores, because for 200 entities, it's not worth doing so much splitting up. They have some magic logic, and probably have some benchmarks done there. So for all of those 4 threads that are now working on each of those 50 entities, they are creating a vector, and this vector is, and now they are creating a vector, and during each query they are modifying the vector by pushing to the vector in case line 88 returns some entity. So each time the query above returns some, it will be added to the vector. This is what happens in the fold. And the reduce is then used to say how those 4 different vectors that are created in 4 different threads are then made into one single vector. And you can do really cool algorithms with that, and I'm just saying first algorithm add a number, second algorithm is just append both together. So this is just the basic kind of tool. And then we just collect this one single vector, and then we are going back into single threaded mode. So we have all the fancy checking was done in parallel now. And now in single threaded mode we are doing now the modifications, and this is just a deferred campfire deletion, right? For all items from the bodies we get the entity, we modify it to campfire and remove the light emitter. Here we are just using the get method from specs, which is probably not the fastest, but like we assume that the function above actually don't really returns many campfires to put out, right? This will be an event that is occurring once 10 minutes or so. So the code that needs to be executed is super fast, and this code then needs to have a get, which is maybe a bit slower than else, but it won't matter if it's just used 10 times in a tick. But therefore the above code scales better. This was basically the code.
I see.
Hopefully, and the rest is just helper code, right? Just using the
okay, that's pretty nifty. And so essentially, the problem that this is trying to solve is that like there's like a lot of campfires around the world, and before, when it was being like when we were querying for them, we weren't doing that in parallel, or like we were trying to like figure out which ones are lit, which ones are not lit, which ones are underwater. So that was what was moved to the parallel side.
Right. So maybe there are not even a lot of campfires, but we don't have a specific type for a campfire. But a campfire is just anything that is defined as it has a physics state and it has a body.
Okay.
And so we need to iterate over everything which has a physics state and a body, and this is not. And then we have to check if the body is a campfire body. So
yeah,
this is an unsorted list, and we have to go over this whole unsorted list and then check. Are you a campfire? Oh no, you're a bird. Are you a campfire? Oh, you're another bird. Are you a campfire? No, a bird again. And this is basically just burning CPU time.
yeah.
And honestly, maybe we could even put this behind a don't do it every tick, but do it once in a second. With the effect, of course, that campfires would only go out every second, but who cares?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't care for those campfires, but
yeah,
maybe. But I don't want to do it in that code because I don't really know about if this has game-breaking impact. So.
Okay, I see. So yeah, I think this sounds pretty good. And what I'll do is I'll make a MR for mine as well. I think it will be good to see if we could try to get that one in, like depending on like if there's like a lot of other stuff that has to be done with mine. But hopefully we could see some improvement from those. That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be awesome. If we could get so fast quick improvement. I mean, I would be fighting for years, and then
yes.
Okay.
It's all about the small incremental steps.
We will host the next party with 1,000 people, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. That's the dream.
You hear that here first. I don't know who's hearing live, but.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, XMac, for helping me with getting some of the Grafana stuff sorted out. That was good to go through. That was a lot of fun. And then also thank you to like Zester and everybody else for helping me with the code today. It was pretty cool to go through. I'll probably write like a blog section about this, and so do keep an eye out for that.
We have to write some blogs.
Indeed. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for being here. Bye bye.